Hey, what is up, guys? Ryan here.
Good evening.
So we are excited to have you. Let's
Yes.
see who we got in the chat. You said there's somebody from Arizona.
Yeah, unbiased
cool.
sinner. Ooh.
There you go.
From Arizona.
Yeah.
So we have Coulter Bay, Florida. Where is that? Or Cutler. Sorry,
I don't know.
Cutler Bay, Florida.
Broward County, so that's down in Miami.
Okay.
Very cool.
So Stephen, where is Cutler Bay? Let me know.
Daytona.
Miami-Dade. Hello, Scuba. Austin, we love you too. Thank you. Bunker Depot's on.
Oh, what's up? Kyle, Jason.
Yeah. Okay. Randall, Justin. What did he say? Northern. Don't forget us in Northern California. Ah.
You're behind enemy lines, my friend.
I feel sorry for you.
Bro, not only are you behind enemy lines, you're like right there, man. You're at the worst place you could possibly be.
I gotta agree.
Yeah, that's rough, dude. When you have to have an app on your phone so that you can navigate the poop on the streets.
Is that for real, though? Because we went to, where did we go?
San Diego.
San Diego.
Which is like the most conservative county city in the entire state of California.
Okay.
So San Diego is not like a good picture of what California is.
Oh, so, okay. What about like San Francisco? Would that be?
That's where you have to have a poop app.
Is this true? Please confirm. I forget the gentleman's name. Please confirm.
Comment down below. It is true.
Yeah. Thank you, Tommy. We appreciate it. So, yeah, I'm not sure, but I wouldn't like, hey, drop it like it's Scott.
Yeah, what's up, Scott?
Okay.
Sky
Oh, yeah,
boy.
Miguel. I forgot to tell you, Miguel moved to North Carolina.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes. So I hope that the move was good for you guys. Baby Sarah says hi. We say hi. Okay. Oh, okay. So we got our first question here. We might as well answer it while we're on here. If you got a concealed weapon on your hip when you're driving and you get pulled over, what should you do?
First thing you want to do is crack that window, spray a little bit of Febreze to get the weed smell out.
Shut up.
Step 2. Okay, so the big thing is in the state of Florida, we are not required to tell the police that we have a firearm on us. In my opinion, though, you guys can watch the video. I'm pretty sure I have a video about this, but a cop saw, okay, here's the story. He pulled me over for speeding. I was weaving in and out of traffic. I told the cop that I was just a highly motivated driver.
You're always very highly motivated.
I learned that you don't say that to the police. So he asked for my driver's license. I opened my wallet. Let's see if you can see this. And when I pulled my driver's license out, he saw my concealed carry permit.
Okay.
This guy jumped back, put his hand on his gun.
Oh, this was the young guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he goes, "Where's the effing gun? Where is it?" Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, dude. I put my hands out of the window. I said, "It's in my waistband." And he goes, "Don't you touch the fucking gun. Don't touch it." Yeah. And I was like, "Listen, bro, I'm going to need you to calm down."
Yeah.
Okay?
just relax.
Don't ever tell a woman or a cop to calm down because it made it significantly worse. He was visibly shaking. His voice was cracking.
It was like his first day on the job, maybe.
But, it couldn't have been because he didn't have another person with him. So it was just him, right?
Yeah, maybe he had a bad experience.
Maybe he recently got shot at.
Yeah.
Maybe his buddy recently got shot at.
Yeah,
He threw the driver's license at me, and he said, "Get the F out of this parking lot and don't touch that gun until you're gone." So the only positive is that it got me out of the speeding ticket.
Got out of a speeding ticket.
But it made me realize, I have a lot of gun paraphernalia in my truck. So I have ammunition in the cup holder.
You do.
Like, there's no telling. I could open a center console and find magazines, find a gun. Like, there's no telling. I don't just keep guns in my car, but you never know. So I would hate for somebody to see it, freak out, and accidentally shoot me. I think you just need to be upfront with the officer and just tell him very plainly, when that cop first walks up, what's the first thing they normally ask?
License and registration. Don't
hand him anything. Say, "Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. But before I do that, I just want to let you know that I have a concealed carry permit and I do have a firearm on me." They're going to ask where the gun is located, and then you just need to help them.
Yeah, I agree.
Make sense? Good?
Yeah.
Okay.
So thank you very much, Jose. And we had a Facebook user who actually posted pictures of poop on sidewalk and how to report it to the city.
Okay, awesome. Like it's a real thing in San Francisco.
Apparently it is. Hello from Daytona. I want to add a suppressor to my TX22. Where can I get it? And is there any license process involved? Yes, there is.
Yeah, you can buy suppressors everywhere. So most gun stores, now just because a gun store is allowed to sell guns doesn't mean they're allowed to sell a suppressor. They have to have a special license called a special occupational tax. So that allows them to buy and sell NFA, National Firearms Act items. Yeah. But go to a big gun store, an NFA dealer, they're going to have them for sale. You just buy it. They're going to, supposedly, they should help you fill out all the paperwork. Yeah. You just got to send it in. And right now, it's taking about 14 months to get approved.
I think longer. How long is it?
We bought a suppressor in January of 2020.
So we're at 11 months already.
And we still don't have it. So 11 months? Do you know how to count?
Or, sorry, 13
months. What's the education system in Canada like?
Shoot, I'm trying to be smart here, Ryan. Yeah. You're totally blowing my cover.
It's not working.
They probably wouldn't have picked up on it.
No, everybody picked up on it, yeah.
So, yeah, 13 months already, and we haven't heard a peep.
So next month, roughly, we should get it.
Let's hope.
So it sucks. It's a long, and what's funny is we already own like a dozen suppressors or so, but this is still always this bad. Wow.
Yeah. So, Vincent, did you like Disney Springs? He said he got into Disney with his Glock. So which Disney?
Take some balls. Yeah, not only what Disney, but how did you get through the metal detector?
Yeah, that's what I want to know, too.
So do you remember, Tiffany, like a long time ago, I said, I've got a great idea for a series of YouTube videos. I'm going to show people how to get guns past the metal detectors of Busch Gardens.
No.
Because it's not a crime, but... No. And then she's like, Ryan, please don't make that YouTube video. That would be horrible.
Please don't.
Yeah.
Gosh, I don't need you to be
make sure
arrested.
You guys share this live stream. We are 6 subscribers away.
26, just 26 to get to 70,000. So please also, if you're on this live stream, click the like button for us because that always helps us. So if you appreciate Ryan and I coming on here and doing this on Monday nights when I desperately want to be in bed, in my pajamas, eating a Twix bar.
Because we are the people at 36 years old. How old are you? 39, 40?
No, I'm 40.
Okay. We're in very young, late 30s. We literally go to bed like 8 o'clock, 8:30. We're laying in bed. And we tell the kids, like, stop coming in here. Give us a minute. We need a break.
Exactly. I'm Canadian, and I count in metric months.
Oh, is that nice?
Good one. I love it.
Brilliant.
That was great.
If you guys have any questions for next week's live stream, visit TampaCarryLive.com. So that's TampaCarry.com. It's going to take me a while to remember it. TampaCarryLive.com. You can submit your question, video question, whatever you got.
Yep. Fill out that form for us. Okay, here. So, question regarding a security guard confiscating, a firearm.
Who asked this question?
Drop it like it's Scott.
Oh, it was. Okay.
So, the security guard confiscated a firearm from a CWP holder on private property. Can they legally confiscate the firearm? Let me just guess.
Okay. You go, Tiff, because I'm ready to give the answer to this
Ryan wouldn't put up with that crap. I'll tell you that right now. No. But I'm saying if it's on private property, they can't take your firearm, but they can ask you to leave.
I don't even have to talk to you.
But listen, they can ask you to leave, and if you don't leave, then they can have you charged with armed trespassing, which is a 3rd-degree felony. Is that right?
Armed trespassing is a felony. I don't know if it's 3rd degree. Well, it's been a long time since
I've been arrested. That's what you got. That's what you were arrested with.
Was it a 3rd-degree felony?
It's a 3rd-degree felony. Okay. So, but they can't take your personal property from you. They can just ask you to leave. Correct?
Yeah. So when we were at Disney Springs,
was I correct?
Yes, roughly.
Oh, roughly.
When we were at Disney Springs and a security guard had walked up with a dog and said, "My dog smelled gunpowder on you. Do you have a firearm?" I looked at him and I laughed and I was like, I don't have to talk to you. And I just walked past him because I'm thinking, bro, you might have your own little authority in your own little world. Right. You have zero authority over me. I'm not stopping to talk to you. I'm not engaging with you. I'm going to walk past you. And that's just it. So drop it like a Scott. No, a security guard does not. I don't even trust. So I was at the range today with some of our awesome students.
Are you texting me?
I'm pretending for the video.
Oh, okay.
So I do love you. Okay.
I love you too.
So, woman came in. She brought in a Nambu from World War II. You remember what that is? A Nambu is an old pistol. So, I talked to her in the class about it. I said, when you come shooting with me, bring it. I'd love to see it. But we couldn't open the action. We couldn't figure it out. So, she goes, I know it's unloaded. And I said, ma'am, you are not touching this gun in front of me, I'll touch it because I can control and make sure I'm not going to shoot anybody.
Yeah.
But I'm not letting you touch it. And she tried to grab it, and I said, ma'am, you are not touching this gun until we can figure out that this is unloaded or not.
Exactly. 100%.
Security guards, they couldn't make it to be a full-blown cop, okay? They couldn't make it to be a full-blown cop.
Well, they just
I am not trusting you with my handgun. I'm not.
I agree.
It's not happening.
Can we answer the question?
I would not talk to a security guard. Okay. I would not allow them to touch my gun. I would say, get lost. And if it's really getting that bad, I would just leave.
Yeah.
But I for sure am not letting them touch my gun, detain me. They have no rights over me.
Okay. This is a serious question. John, I went poop and dropped my gun in the toilet. Just wait, because he may be joking, but people actually ask about this on the Florida Concealed Carry group. Like, what do you do with your gun when you're going?
You know what? I was taking a crap at a store the other day, and I was like, I should probably make a video right now of me holding my gun.
I can smell it now. So because this actually happened to somebody at the stadium, right? And they forgot their gun. It
was an actual active duty military guy. This is why the Lightning Stadium has metal detectors now, was because of this incident. A active duty military guy brought a gun in. So before, they didn't want you, they just allowed people to walk in. So he went to the bathroom, he put his gun on the toilet paper roll, he went to the bathroom, then he left, went back to his seat, realized he forgot his gun, and when he came back, that's when he was confronted by the police. And he was arrested for leaving the firearm there. I'm sure he got in a ton of trouble from his first sergeant and commander. Too. But yeah.
So, Drop It Like It's Scott said, my security guard returned it, and she got fired for returning it to the CWP holder.
Yeah, so because that security company and then their client, right, the person that the security company is working for, was mad. Florida's a right-to-work state. They have a right to fire you for whatever reason they want.
Whatever reason they want, yeah. Unfortunate, though, because she was, whatever.
Yeah, but I would never allow them to touch a gun. Yeah.
So, Aaron says...
We got other questions on here, Tef.
Okay, I was just going to say, Aaron says, best classes ever. Thank you, Aaron.
Awesome, thank you, Aaron. All right, Alex says, withheld adjudication on a felony... Can I get it concealed 3 years after I've done research, but it's hard to find? I'd love some clarification, please. Yeah, so Aaron.
Who says that?
Key and Peele. You don't know that, Key and Peele?
No, I don't watch them.
It's like the worst substitute teacher.
I think that the stuff that you watch is extremely stupid and annoying, and I can't bring myself to watch that stuff. I like classic comedy.
Like Dave Chappelle?
No, I don't like Dave Chappelle. There's too much cussing. No.
I love Dave Chappelle.
I know you're doing it. It drives me crazy because he watches it in bed while I'm trying to watch my good comedy, and then I got to listen to that in the background, and it's annoying as heck.
Yeah. Ugh. Okay, so Florida Statute 790.065, subsection 2 says that a person who has had an adjudication of guilt withheld or an imposition of sentence suspended on any felony or misdemeanor crime of domestic violence, so those people are prohibited, unless it has been at least 3 years since probation or any other conditions set by the court have been fulfilled or expungement has occurred.
Okay.
So as long as you've waited past 3 years after the probation and court-ordered punishment is done, then you're allowed to buy a gun.
So not 3 years after you were first arrested.
Right.
Like 3 years after everything was completed, everything was closed
up. All fees were paid, all that fun stuff.
Thank you, Marcel.
Thanks, Marcel. We appreciate you. All right, Samantha. I do not understand the state versus federal law on having a medical marijuana card. Having a concealed weapons permit and purchasing a firearm thereafter, seems in Florida you can have both cards but cannot purchase new guns. Remember that. That's an important point. And they could possibly confiscate the ones you already have. Now, if I cancel my medical marijuana application per the state, but I'll always be on the medical marijuana registry, am I going to have problems with my 4473 moving forward? Okay, so Samantha, amazing, great question. There's a lot of misinformation and bad information. And honestly, most of the misinformation on this topic is coming from the dispensaries.
Yeah, medical marijuana doctors. That's what I noticed online, too.
These people are real scumbags. I've gotten into a lot of arguments with them, and they just, they're evil people that are trying to sell their product without fully telling people the consequences.
Which is funny because people ask me all the time. They say, can I get a permit with a medical marijuana card? I know that I'm going to lose you now as a you're not going to take my class when I tell you, actually, no, you can't. But these scumbags are just telling people, oh yeah, no problem, because they're scared to just lose your business, when they should be upfront and say, well, this is the deal. If you get a permit, you're not allowed to legally own or touch a firearm or ammunition. Did you still want to go ahead with the process? Because there's so many people that go ahead and get the card. I don't know what the fees are for that, but then they go ahead and cancel it just because they didn't realize that they couldn't have a firearm.
Okay, so Samantha, let's take a look at exactly what the ATF Form 4473 says. So it says, this is question 21E, and this is one of the questions, this is the document when you're buying a brand new gun from a licensed dealer. Are you an unlawful user of or addicted to marijuana or any depressant, stimulant, narcotic drug, or other controlled substance? Warning, the use or possession of marijuana remains unlawful under federal law, regardless of whether it has been legalized or decriminalized for medical or recreational purposes in the state where you reside. So part of your question was, it seems like you cannot buy new guns. So that is false, Samantha. Mm-hmm. So the federal law, it's 18 U.S.C. 922, subsection G, subsection 3, prohibits any person who is an unlawful user of or addicted to any controlled substance from shipping, receiving, or possessing firearms or ammunition. So Samantha, not only are you prohibited from buying a new gun, you are prohibited from owning the guns that you currently own if you have a medical marijuana card or are a user of any substance.
And that includes ammunition.
Right.
So.
And here's the thing. Like, the government can't even manage the stuff that they already have. Nobody's coming to your door. None of that stuff's going to happen. But if you were, I heard a story a while ago of this young woman in Colorado, actually, where it's legal recreationally. Right. So somebody broke in. She shot the guy in her house. When the police showed up, I guess there was like a bong and some other drug paraphernalia, and she was arrested for illegally being in possession of a firearm because they know. So now they're not coming to look for you, but you just shot somebody. You just invited the cops in your house, and you left all your evidence laying out.
And that is the discussion that I have over and over and over again with people. They said, well, how's anybody ever going to know? And I said, they won't. But should you ever have to use your firearm in self-defense, you went from being a legal concealed carry holder, and legal justified use of force to, oh, you're prohibited. Now this is a total illegal, then stand your ground doesn't hold up.
Yeah, so the other thing that's really critical, Samantha, is the Florida stand your ground law, the law that gives you a right to use deadly force against somebody who's trying to hurt you. That law actually doesn't apply to medical marijuana cardholders. Right. Because part of that law says you cannot be committing a crime. Yeah. So the crime a medical marijuana cardholder would be committing is that you're an illegal drug user, which means somebody comes and tries to stab you, you do not have the same right to defend yourself as I would.
Right. So you make that decision. So thank you very much, Jose. Hang on a second here, Ryan. I got a question from Jose. Okay. Ryan, open carry.
It's pronounced Josue.
Josue. Ryan, open carry AR-15 in a vehicle in Florida. The rifle just has to be secured. Good example, good old boys, racks in trucks. Yeah,
so securely encased has very specific definitions in the Florida law. So it basically says a glove box, a center console, a zippered gun case, so a solid case, a hard gun case, like a Pelican case, something like that, whether locked or unlocked. Now, personally, I think it's probably very dangerous to leave a AR-15.
Someone's going to break in.
Loaded, not secured in your vehicle. So AR-15 should not be loaded in your vehicle. Keep one out of the chamber. And it also just doesn't make any strategic sense. Yeah. Like, here, what would have to happen in my life, Tiffany, for me to start driving around with an AR?
Well, you used to drive around with an AR, but it was
because we had an active death threat from a gang in Tampa.
But it was always like hidden. It was it was in a
But it was there. I was ready to rock.
Yeah,
they might kill me, but I'm going to kill a lot of them, was my mindset. Yeah. Be very cautious. I don't think most people need this level of protection. A handgun is enough. And when it really gets that bad that we need an AR-15, in my opinion, the laws don't really matter at that point.
Right, yeah, but I would never recommend, just because as owning the gun store, I know how many people came in and said, hey, do you have my serial number by chance? My gun got stolen out of the car. I must have heard that 100 times.
What was that one young kid's name? The young kid, the one that was there when I chased the thieves down the street. You remember him? So he had an AK-47, an AK pistol, 3 or 4 handguns in the back seat of his car, and he thought it was a smart idea to check his car into valet at a restaurant.
Oh, that's right.
You remember?
What was the name of that company? I know that company too.
So he's like, yeah, man, I can't believe that happened. I was like, of course it happened. Like, you're the dumbest person I've ever seen, man.
Yeah. Anyway.
So you gotta be smart.
You gotta be careful.
You gotta be smart. Hey, if you guys want to get an amazing Second Amendment t-shirt.
Boom! There it is. You look good in that.
I look good in everything, Tiffany. Support the Second Amendment. Click the link in our description down below. You guys can order one of our awesome t-shirts. We're going to ship it out right away, and you can look maybe as cool as me. Okay, Ariel says, if I see somebody robbing my car from my room upstairs, can I shoot him? Oh. It's pretty sexist that Ariel thinks it's a man breaking into her car. I find that to be
parked my
very
car
judgmental.
in the front of the house. Wow.
So what do you think about that, Tiff?
Well, you're not allowed to shoot somebody for stealing your car or stealing something out of your car.
Okay.
So right away, that's a big no. Plus, I don't think you should be shooting out your window into the street either. That's very dangerous. So that's a big fat don't do that, Ariel, because you're going to end up in cuffs.
Okay, so let's take a look, Ariel, at the actual Florida statute that regulates this. So this is Florida Statute 790.012, subsection 2. A person is justified in using or threatening to use deadly force if he or she reasonably believes that using or threatening to use such force is necessary to prevent imminent death or great bodily harm to himself or herself or another, or to prevent the imminent commission of a forcible felony. So the question that I have for you, Ariel, is, do you really want to shoot somebody in this situation? Everybody watching needs to understand that if you shoot somebody, every time when you press that trigger, you just spent $100,000.
Pretty much. I mean, especially in a case like this where it's not a cut and dry self-defense.
Yeah, so you spent $100,000. No matter what they steal out of your car, is it worth $100,000, Ariel? Is it worth the 2 to 5 years of litigation that you're going to go through, battling the court system? Is it going to be worth that stress? Maybe they got your laptop. Maybe they got your phone. Is it worth it?
Is it worth the family now suing you for...
Yeah, the person that you shot and killed potentially. You're going to get sued for shooting that person.
The best thing that you can do, Ariel, is keep nothing of value in your car and lock your doors. If somebody should be, break into your vehicle, stay in your home, make sure the doors are locked. You can put the lights on. That way they see that someone's there, and get on the phone with 911. That's it. That's what you should do.
So the bottom line is you do not have a legal right to use a gun in a situation like this, period.
Somebody said here that they are going squirrel hunting tomorrow.
Cool.
Right on. I was just thinking, so when we were kids, so I would have been like probably 8. We moved when I was 10. So I would have been like probably 8 years old. And we were pig farmers. So I'm not sure what the big machine is, but it sucks up the pig poop, the pig manure, and then you spray it on your fields. Well, my dad would take the hose and he would stick it in the ground where the gophers, because we had tons of gophers. So he'd stick it in the gopher hole, let it rip, and then we would shoot all the gophers.
So he'd be pushing manure in there and that'd make them all come out. Okay.
And then we'd shoot the gophers that would pop up. It was really fun with the little 22.
Is this explaining why Tiffany is the way she is now?
It was fun. I liked it. I had a good dad to do that.
Yeah, we'll see what PETA thinks, if they think that was fun.
Yeah, well, this is back in the this would have been like in 88,
But
89.
to be very honest, that's something I would do right now if we had all that.
If we had a pig manure truck and
I would do that.
So here, wait, Arthur says, hey, Ryan, I'm thinking about getting the LCP2 or the Taurus TX22. Which one should I get? Arthur, I'll give you my opinion. Get the LCP2. It's a great little pistol.
LCP2 22.
Yeah.
The only thing I hate about the LCP22 is the way the safety works. It was very stupid the way they designed the safety.
But Ryan's not a big fan of Taurus, so... we go with Ruger LCP. We have a couple Rugers. Great customer service. Great everything.
Yeah, Ruger is amazing.
Yeah. All right, next question.
All right, so Christian, can I use airsoft guns to familiarize myself with the real thing? Christian, yes. We talk about this in my beginner's guide to firearms course, my advanced course, a 21-day dry fire challenge.
Yep.
We want to use tools like this to develop our training. Tiffany and I have a friend, I won't say his name, but out of the blue, last week he called me.
Oh,
and if you guys have ever seen the TV show Jack Bauer, was that what it's called? Is it called Jack Bauer?
No. It's not called
24.
Jack Bauer. 24, yeah, 24.
Yeah, so Jack Bauer in the show 24. That's who our friend is.
He's pretty much like John Wick, man.
My God. So he came into my gun store one time, and I said, hey, man, you kill anybody lately? And he looked at me and he said, not in America.
But I
was like, yes.
Craziness.
So one day, do you remember he came in, and it was like he usually only came in the evening, but this time he came in right in the morning, like 9 o'clock. He stunk. Like he was so sweaty. He reeked. And I said, hey, man, what are you doing here? Like, this is pretty odd. You look pretty nervous, pretty stressed. And he said, man, my team and I have been chasing this guy around Florida all night.
Oh, man.
And he said, I just need to calm down before I go see my kids. So I was like, girl, crazy. But that guy, he was a Delta Force operator for 20 years. And for every single day, even to today, he uses airsoft guns to do 20 minutes worth of training before he goes to work.
Yep.
So if it's good enough for that dude who has killed more people than I've slept with,
well, that's not hard.
then it's good enough for us.
Wow, Ryan, you're just really throwing yourself there.
Okay, so Gaelic says, went shooting with a friend and his girlfriend recently. Later found out she was a convicted felon. That's not good.
Uh-oh.
I didn't know. In hindsight, I was probably violating some gun law. Are gun ranges supposed to ask? Yeah, so when she filled out the waiver form at the gun store, she checked a box and signed that she is not a convicted felon, been convicted of a misdemeanor crime of domestic violence. Every gun range does that. Right. So then she lied on that document. And if you guys remember, if you remember the gun instructor at Shooter's World that lost his leg.
Oh, man.
So the boyfriend.
Tell us the story because some people don't know this.
So this happened in November of 2019, I believe. So a man brought his girlfriend to the gun range. The man rented a gun for the girlfriend to shoot during her range session. And as the girlfriend was shooting, allegedly, this is a story I heard, some brass went down her shirt. She kind of moved like this, shot the instructor in the leg. It shattered his bone, and they ended up having to amputate it. Yeah. So when they did their police investigation, the boyfriend was a convicted felon and was not allowed to rent a gun for his girlfriend. So I don't think you broke any law because you didn't know she was a felon.
Right.
I would encourage you to never shoot with her again.
Now that you know.
And probably, to be honest, probably not that other person, her boyfriend.
Well, now
that person does not have your best interest.
Right, but now that you know, you shouldn't because she's not legally allowed to, touch a firearm or ammunition. So you wouldn't want to be the main source for that. So.
And let me caveat this with, I don't know what kind of felony she got convicted of.
Yeah.
But if it was a non-violent felony, if she got a felony for not paying child support or driving without car insurance.
Bad checks.
I believe those kind of people should be allowed to have guns.
But it's not our call, though.
Right.
I believe it, too. Hey, wait. John's got a question here. Thank you, John, for the donation. Would you buy a dead air Sandman suppressor for a 300 blackout as my first tax stamp? Or would you put the money towards paying off a Benelli M1014? What is that?
I actually don't know what a 1014 is.
I'm sure it's a fancy shotgun because that's all Benelli makes. But towards paying off?
Yeah, if you have debt, Tiffany and I are pretty frugal people. Like, we don't have any debt.
I'm not sure if you mean that or
like somebody's got it on a layaway. That's what it sounds like. He's got a gun on a layaway.
I'm not sure if he means that or if he's actually saying, or should I just, put that money towards buying?
He says, put your money towards paying off, which means he's already spent some money.
So pay it off.
You need to pay off the gun you already bought. You committed to.
And then save up your, stop going for coffee, once a week and save up to get that suppressor.
When it's time for you to buy the suppressor, don't buy a suppressor specifically for a 300 blackout.
Right.
You always want to buy a 308 suppressor, a 45 ACP suppressor, and a 22 Magnum suppressor, so that way you can shoot on all the calibers that are lower. Yes. So I only have one 5.56 suppressor right now, which I hate. And because it's 5.56, I accidentally put it on a 300 blackout, shot it. Oh,
you did. You had a baffle strike.
But that would have never happened if I would have just bought the proper 308.
Yeah, so he always buys bigger. So you go 308, 45, and then you have a 22 for a 22.
22 Magnum, though.
Oh, yeah, 22 Magnum.
Because
so
you want to be able to shoot
both.
5.7, you want 22 Magnum, you want 17 HMR, all that kind of fun stuff. Okay, so Joshua says, I recently purchased your Florida concealed carry law book, and I need some clarification. I too live in the Tampa Riverview area, and with us being a port hub for ships, which falls under the U.S. What?
I read it as Pornhub earlier, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And then, yeah,
what is this guy talking about? Okay, regulations, would that be considered federal? So, yes, Joshua, that is considered federal property. Okay. And it is actually Florida Statute 311.12, seaport security. It is that statute that prohibits the possession of firearms or ammunition at a seaport as long as the seaport has properly posted the no guns allowed. Now, that was not in my old book, the 2020 version, but that is in the new 2021 version.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, Samuel, thank you so much. He has a question here. Hey, truck driver in Florida here. Never leave. I have a CC permit. Do you know if I can carry in my truck?
Yeah, Samuel, good question. So there's a big myth I hear from people, from truck drivers all the time, that you are not allowed to have a firearm inside of a DOT vehicle. Oh. There are no federal or Florida state laws that prohibit a DOT driver from having a gun inside of the truck. Now, the challenge of having a gun there is that when we had our gun store down by the base, we would have truck drivers pull up all the time, and they're like, hey, I got this handgun. I've got to go on the base. What can I do with it? And we would just, for free, we'd take their gun, and then they'd go to the base, make their delivery, and then come back and pick up their gun. So the challenge is, you're probably not going to have a place like that. So be very cautious. You got to really plan out your routes. And if you're going to a place that you're not allowed to bring that gun to make a delivery, you got to know where you're going to put it. We had a guy, do you remember? He went to the base. He lied to the gate guard and said he didn't have a gun. Then they ran the dogs through his truck, found the gun. Yeah. And this guy was a civilian, and he spent 6 months in the base jail. And then eventually they gave the gun to me, and I had to give the gun back to him. Yeah. Or did we give the gun to somebody else?
I don't know what we did.
Yeah, so anyway, that guy got in a lot of trouble. Don't lie to the military because they don't take that stuff very kindly.
Hey, Asteric Ed, you say, I live in the UK, but you've visited Florida and love it. You would move here if given the chance. How did you find our channel over in the UK?
You don't know this. I look at this when I see the analytics. We have people watch our channel from Jamaica, from India.
I know, but I'm just wondering how you came across our channel.
Do you want to know why, Tiffany?
Sure.
Because we're freaking awesome.
Okay, here.
So the other day, we went to Applebee's, and we have this amazing waiter. This guy is so amazing. So as soon as we come in, we had 4 kids, right? So my kids and then the neighbor. 4 kids sit down, and this guy comes up, and he brings all my kids' juice. Yeah. And then he brings a big plate of fries, and he's like, here's some fries, guys.
Get you started.
And the kids are like, oh my gosh, why is he doing this? And I said, kids, because as soon as we walked in, the entire staff, everybody at this restaurant was like, oh my God, that's Ryan G. That's Ryan G. Let's bring him. We got to take care of this guy.
None of this happened. It's actually just
happened in my mind.
This waiter is really, really great. We've been going to this Applebee's for 17 years, and we know this about him. It's the first time the kids had him, so they were like, whoa, what's happening here tonight?
Totally different.
They totally fell into Ryan. Ryan's like, yeah, didn't you know that I'm famous now? And the kids are like, oh, really? So it's pretty funny. Okay, wait. We got a question.
Kissing babies and shaking hands.
Yeah, we got a question from Joey Lee. Says, recommendations on an AR-10 chambered in 308. Thanks.
Yeah, so I have a couple Aero Precision AR-10s. They're not completely built yet.
Didn't you build those? Yeah.
They're not built yet.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to build it himself. I think he wants to.
But if you want to buy Aero Precision, is one of the best AR-15 companies, AR-10 companies out there. Everything they do is amazing. Their barrels are amazing. They're just great. I do really like the Springfield Saint AR-10 is very nice. Let's see, what other AR-10s? The LWRC Reaper is really nice, expensive though.
Anything LWRC for Ryan and his fine taste.
Sophisticated, Tiffany. I have a very sophisticated gun palette.
Yeah, well.
So those are some good ones. I'm sure Core 15 makes an AR-10. I haven't really been on the shopping market for an AR-10 lately. So those are some good kind of tips for you. Okay, so Mark, can I carry if I go to World of Beer and sit outside? World of Beer used to not serve food, but now they do. So if I sit outside, I would think it would no longer have a primary purpose of serving alcohol. What are your thoughts?
I'm going to guess that if the name says World of Beer, their primary focus is
probably alcohol.
Selling alcohol.
Yeah. So here's the challenge, buddy. I think even though sitting outside, so the statute says any portion of an establishment primarily devoted to purpose of serving alcohol, of consuming alcohol. Yeah. I think if you took everybody that was sitting outside in that outdoor area, what percentage of those people have an alcoholic beverage? I would say probably 95%. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you're going there probably because of the beer and not because of the food.
So 95% have a beer, and I bet you less than 50% probably have food. So in my opinion, I would say it's still probably more about alcohol than it is about food. And honestly, I think this is super dumb.
Yeah.
I think I should be allowed to have a gun wherever.
I agree.
And it should just be a non-issue. Yeah. Other states do it. Other states allow you to go to a bar and actually drink and have a gun.
Well, you should be able to.
Because again, it's constitutional right. And honestly, I should be able to control myself and just kind of move on from there.
Yeah.
But
thank you, Lisa and Adam. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Okay, Richard, can you illegally shoot through front door? I'm assuming that's supposed to mean legally.
Legally, yes.
Can you legally shoot through your front door of your home if somebody is kicking in the door? Does this fall within the lines of the Florida Castle Doctrine? So the Florida Castle Doctrine says that you have a right to use or threaten the use of deadly force. Let me find it right here real quick. Was it Steve? Is that the guy's name? No?
No, it wasn't Steve.
Okay, whatever. I didn't put it down then. So you have a right to use or threaten the use of deadly force to stop if a bad guy is attempting to enter by force and unlawfully to a dwelling, residence, or occupied vehicle. So unlawful entry means that they don't have a legal right to be there and you did not invite them. By force means that they were kicking in a door, picking a lock, turning a doorknob, something of that nature. Now, is this bad guy kicking in your door? Are they attempting to enter unlawfully? Yes, in my opinion. Are they attempting to enter by force? Yes. But is the use of deadly force necessary? That's one of the final requirements of the Castle Doctrine law. In my opinion, I'd say the answer is no. We don't want to shoot somebody.
Right.
We don't want to. What you want to do in this situation is get yourself to a barricaded position in your home, an inner area of your home. Your family should be there. You're on the phone with 911 because you want recorded evidence. You then need to have your gun pointed at that door.
Ready,
and you need to start screaming, I have a gun and I will shoot you.
Yeah.
If that doesn't make the bad guy leave, if they still come into your home at that point, then they are expecting to get shot and killed.
I personally 100% believe that you need to have the person's full image before you shoot them.
So their face. You need to see their face.
Yeah, you need to see their face because you just don't know. And if you guys remember, there was that story of that young girl who was 16 or something years old, had a car crash, and she, went to the...
So several friends got hurt, and this one girl was okay, so she ran to the door.
But she was panicked, so it was the middle of the night. She was banging on the door, probably very loud, very aggressively. And, they probably might have even thought that somebody was kicking the door in. And the gentleman shot, the shotgun through the door and killed her. And,
and it was uncalled for. So as a little girl who was scared because her friends were hurt in a car accident.
And you just never know. And then there was the father who,
killed his daughter.
The daughter snuck in, hid in the coat closet. He heard something, shot through the door, killed his 16-year-old daughter who snuck out and was, scared, hiding from her dad. So... I really think that you 100% need to see who that person is. And this is a big reason why Ryan always talks about having a handgun that has a rail on it so that you can have a light so that if it's in the middle of the night and it's dark, you are sitting with your light down, barricaded, and you are ready to rock and roll. But that light is shining at that door and you're screaming commands. And when that person enters, you see their face.
They don't belong there.
It's not a cousin, a brother, somebody playing a prank, This happens a lot, too. Drunk or high person thinks it's their house.
Oh, true.
Why am I locked out? Get me in. That's happened several times in the news. They can't figure out why they're locked out of their own house. So they're kicking, screaming.
But again, that drunk or high person, once they get in, I'm shooting.
I know that, but I'm just saying a reason why not to shoot through the door. So.
Okay. All right. So Richard, can you legally shoot? Okay, we already did Richard. That's what she said. Steve, I have a concealed weapons permit. I understand I have to conceal my firearm while out in public, but do I have to conceal my firearm while on my property? Great question. Here's an example. While I'm in my garage, while the garage door is open, or on my front lawn. Thank you in advance. Hope to one day see you around town and say hello. Yeah, feel free, man. Like I see people almost every day out and about. But here's the thing. You are allowed to openly display your firearm on your property. Now, open carry means the gun is in a holster on your body and the firearm is visible on your body. Open carry does not mean the gun is actually in your hand. So as long as it's in a holster on your body, it's not a big deal. Just remember, you're going to have some neighbors that are going to freak out. You're going to have the Karens. They're going to freak out and call the police on you all the time, and you just have to be very aware of that. And just use some caution, use some judgment.
Yeah, I'm going to say don't, because from my perspective, you don't know, which neighbors see you and which ones are super anti-gun and then want to turn around and say, he threatened me or something like that.
Yeah, that's the other challenge is that
it can be sticky.
Bad people lie.
Yeah.
And they may call 911 and say you threatened them with the gun, you pointed the gun at them.
And it's your word against theirs.
Right.
And so I'm a little sticky with that. So I can't remember the user because I passed it, but he said, Walmart doesn't allow concealed carry. Yes, because
we care what Walmart
They
thinks.
say that you can't carry in there, but no guns allowed signs don't hold any weight in Florida unless it's one of the 15 prohibited places. So
watch my video. In fact, we'll put a card right here.
Yeah,
not right now.
You
my
can
guy will do it tomorrow.
100% carry your gun in Walmart, despite what they say. The only thing they can do is, if they find out that you have a firearm, they can ask you to leave. If they ask you to leave, you must leave the property, or else they can charge you with arms trespassing. But if you are carrying properly, they'd never know.
So Tiffany bought me this shirt made by Grunt Style.
Oh, gosh.
That's a purple shirt.
I shouldn't have bought it for him because...
It's got pink flowers all over it. So it's a very girly looking shirt. And then in like big bubble letters, it says, "This is my killing shirt." So I wore that shirt to Walmart to
church first to help me in children's ministry.
Then I went to Walmart to buy ammunition. And I walked up and I was like, "Hey, man, I need 500 rounds of 300 blackout."
They wouldn't sell it to him.
The manager was like, "I'm not selling you ammo." And I said, "Why is that?" And he said, "You seem too aggressive."
Okay, DJ 777 says, "What's a good belt for 4 o'clock carry? I'm a chubby dude."
Okay, DJ 777, I really love Core Essentials. That is by far my favorite belt. I also own a Next belt, which is the identical thing to Core
Pretty
Essentials.
Much the same?
Pretty much the same. A little bit thinner material. I think Core Essentials is better. The material's thicker.
Okay.
There's also some company just sent us a belt a couple days ago, and they had emailed us and asked me to review it, but then they sent it to me, and it's like, this is the same belt everybody else has.
Yeah. Well,
it's the same as everything.
No, it doesn't have any thing inside of it.
It's just a leather belt. Yeah. So I don't even know why you wasted my time sending it to me. But
I think it's a kid starting out in leather making, so.
Yeah, but you got to make something different than what the rest of the world is already making.
Yeah,
right?
Okay.
So anyway, Core Essentials, go with them. You'll be very happy.
Yeah, and if you're in the Tampa area, doesn't Bunker Depot carry Core?
Yep, Bunker Depot has them. I forgot about that,
So they actually have them in their store. They carry them, so you can go check it out and feel it, and Jason and Kyle can help you
out there.
And
Jason and Kyle have them. They wear them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So at least, you can talk to someone about it and feel it and look at it before you order it online, so...
So when we got the Core Essentials, my kids were like, "Oh, man, why'd you get a new belt?" And I said, "Because you're back-talking mom."
Yeah, funny. Okay, oh yeah, Bunker Depot said, yes, in stock. Perfect. There you go. Do you guys still have AR-15s in stock? We will see.
Yeah, Bunker Depot still has a lot.
They still do? Okay, so they got some AR-15s too if you're looking for an AR-15.
So I had this young kid in the class a couple days ago, and he was the first person there, so we had some time to kind of chat and get to know each other and stuff. So I was asking him what guns he owned, and then he was telling me the list, and he goes, "I don't own any AR-15s. I never will." And I was like,
I never will.
That's funny that you just felt you had to blurt that out.
Right.
And I said, well, why is that? And he goes, I just don't need anything that excessive. I said, what do you think's excessive about it? So anyway, we just started chatting. And I said, the reason you have an issue against an AR-15 is that you've never shot one. So, but I promise if you and I went to the range together and you shot it, you would love it. And you would be ready and willing right then to drop $1,000. Yeah. Because they are amazing guns. Yeah. We cannot allow, I assume there's a lot of new gun owners on here. Right. And that's great. We love you. We're happy you're here.
Sometimes they're not aware.
Yeah, don't allow the anti-gun community. There's a lot, very manipulative message out there about AR-15s.
You don't need a military style.
So I have a video I'm working on right now because that's one of the recent comments of Joe Biden is that we have to stop military style weapons. So what I'm going to do in this video is lay out all the different military style weapons over the last 100 years. Right. And what's funny is if I showed you guys the weapon that killed more people during World War II, the M1 Garand, you would never think this is a military weapon that has killed millions of people. Yeah. So you never think that. But millions of people have been killed with that rifle. Right. But it doesn't meet the current definition of a military gun. So anyway, don't get manipulated by this anti-gun propaganda.
Right. And what it says is that civilians would have weapons of common use.
So you're talking about the Constitution, the Bill of Rights.
But I'm saying, so of common use right now would be an AR-15 because that's what's used in the military.
Yeah, so what the Founding Fathers believed during the construction era, so when we were first forming as a country, is all men between the ages of 18 and 45 were in the militia. And it was their requirement. The government didn't provide a weapon if they needed you to go defend your area. Right. You had to have your own rifle. You had to have a certain amount of gunpowder, certain amount of bullets, and you had to have a certain amount of food and all that stuff ready so that if something happened, you could go defend your area from enemies, foreign and domestic. Well, that same policy applies. So if we were called forth to be part of the militia, right? So the Congress can never create a militia. We are already in existence. So if I was called forth to be in the militia, I have to bring the common firearm of the day. And that's why the anti-gun community knows that the Supreme Court will never rule with them to take ARs away because they are of in common use at the time. And in fact, the most liberal court in America, which is the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, even ruled that an AR-15 is a common weapon of the day.
I did not know.
Yes, huge. They're out of California.
Oh, wow. I'm not surprised by that. Okay, so what do you think about Hornady Critical Defense? Critical Duty 9mm 124. That's what you carry.
That is what I carry. I can't find any right now. So thankfully, my buddy Kyle over at Bunker Depot
did he have some?
Hooked me up with some Liberty defense ammo, which is I'm happy with. Yeah. Critical Duty is what I normally carry.
That's what you carry, yeah. But you didn't shoot anybody, so where'd that ammo go?
It's a long story.
Oh, okay.
So,
what?
Somebody scrolled up. Somebody asked about this new bill, HB 127. Okay. I have a video coming out about it tomorrow. It is freaking ludicrous. Okay. It's absolutely insane. This woman, Sheila Jackson Lee, is a lunatic. So, it's horrible. It's a horrible bill, and it could pass. That's the scary part. Now with the way, I talk about it a lot, this is a perfect storm for gun control. Perfect storm, We got an anti-gun Congress, anti-gun Senate, anti-gun president. We have all do anything to get a promotion Harris as the vice president, the tie-breaking vote in the Senate. So they really could get anything they want through right now. And if they got HB 127 through, it's horrible.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you very much, Sandy. We appreciate you. It's crazy. Do you have another question?
I don't. I did them.
Oh, really?
Yep, done.
Okay. So M1 has killed many more than any assault rifle. Yep. My dad used it in 1968 in Vietnam. Thank your dad for his service. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy to watch those old movies and stuff. Okay, so somebody said, I passed it, but they said I can think of many other guns to spend $1,000 on rather than an AR. So I think it's just an anarchist. So everybody should have a rifle. What's that saying? That
fight your way to a rifle.
Fight your way to a rifle. So that is because, I am thankful that you have ARs. Now, I like to shoot them. I think they're very fun, very little recoil. They're not as heavy as 10 moving boxes. Like, what's her name?
Sheila Jackson.
Sheila Jackson. Oh, yeah. And then this other guy who has post-traumatic stress from shooting it,
which apparently is funny because my, 11-year-old daughter, 9-year-old son, 6-year-old son
all shoot an AR.
Have all shot ARs, and they're not crying.
No, and they love it. But I'm thankful that we have it because I always think that, especially the way the world is going, that we are the superpower, and there's going to come a time and a place when another country is going to try to come on our land and attack us, and it's going to be up to the citizens. They're going to call the regular Joe Blow citizens.
They don't have to call us. We're freaking excited,
yeah,
locked, cocked, and ready to rock.
Right, but how can you be locked, cocked, and ready to rock if all you have is 100 rounds of ammo and one Glock? Right?
I don't have 100 rounds of ammo.
I know, but I'm saying that if you're one of those guys and that you would step out the second that it would happen, I wouldn't step out. Sorry, I'm staying at the kids.
And your job is not to step out. Your job is to protect the family and stay there.
But what I'm going to do is give you a big hug and a kiss and pray for you every single night and not be mad at you for going, because I know you have to do what you have to do. But
Lincoln will probably come.
He probably will, and that will be very hard for Mama, but I understand it. And I understand you needing to be able to have a stockpile, of ammunition and a couple rifles and stuff like that.
And it's not even an invasion. Like, everybody thinks the big extremes, right? Just look at Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah.
Hurricane Katrina, there was no law enforcement. It's called WROL, so without rule of law.
Mm-hmm.
No law enforcement, no military. The criminal thugs were raping, killing, and just violently rampaging the city.
And there's several things that could create that. It could be an invasion. It could be a storm. It could be something like coronavirus.
COVID-19.
Look at how many people started panicking, and it could have gone way worse. Right away, people realized, crap, I should have had a gun. People, came in for concealed weapons permits, came in for guns. Everything got bought up because they all of a sudden realized, holy crap, this could get bad. And there's several scenarios that could, what's it called? Like an EMP or whatever. What's that called?
Have you been watching Preppers?
No, but I watched that one show where that happened, and then people were like, after, was Blackout?
Yeah, American Blackout.
American Blackout. If you guys haven't watched that movie, watch it. It's pretty crazy.
It's pretty amazing. Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Even if something like that, some type of cyber attack or whatever, that could create this. So I'm not a prepper type person or anything like that, but I do believe in having enough for
to rain hellfire
just in case. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. I think you need to have an AR-15.
You do,
and I think that you need to have. And when I say stockpile, I'm not talking
So the kids just posted on here, Mom, can you tell Paisley to stop being so rude to me?
No,
we can't because we're busy doing a live stream.
Guys,
go to bed.
Get off the thing and go to bed. Ay. Yes, Sheila Jackson thinks that an AR-15 shoots 50 caliber bullets. Yes, you are right.
Sure.
I just can't get it. Walmart has ammo? No, this is a long time ago. Gosh. Walmart
this was before they stopped their anti-gun thing, saying they're not going to sell rifle ammo. They're not going to sell this and that.
So Gary says, I can't wait for my next stimulus check to get more ammo and a new pistol. I agree. We never got our stimulus check because they sent it to the old bank account.
So what? I thought you fixed that. You can't fix that?
You can't fix it. You have to file a special request when you do your taxes. So.
Oh, okay.
Bummer.
So I can buy another gun? How much is a stimulus check?
Tiffany, can you explain that to my wife? LOL. Yes, Jason, just have her watch. So, all right, what time is it? Oh, gosh.
Yeah, it's about time. All right, we're ready for some giveaways. Make sure you guys share the live stream, and we're going to be giving away some good stuff. Copy my book.
Yeah, copy of Ryan's book. So comment down below. You can't just write book. Ryan is insisting that you write Florida Concealed Carry Law. So get your typers out. And Florida Concealed Carry Law. And so I'm going to give you a few minutes to... Gotta love kids. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, they're
funny. And what's funny is that they're all laying in bed, and it's their bedtime at 7:30, but they're all laying in bed and they're watching us on live. I said, isn't it boring to watch Mom and Dad and we're talking about laws and stuff? They're like, no, we love it. So, and they're 7, 9, and 11. So it's kind of funny.
Mom, is this the water all over me? What is he talking about?
Oh,
They're going to get in a lot of trouble for these comments.
you guys are going to get in trouble. Turn it off. Just stop.
Stop commenting.
Just stop. Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Did you give him the look? You gave him the look?
That's the I will burn you with cigarettes when they're not looking look.
Drew says, my typers.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's a Canadian thing. You know, in case you guys haven't noticed, I'm really nerdy. So yeah, your typers. Okay. So we are going to go with Paul Niles. Paul Niles, you just won the Florida Concealed Carry Law book. Ryan,
Paul Niles.
can you put up the thing?
Oh, yes.
Paul, send me an email to winner@tampacarry.com and we'll get that shipped out to you. Just say, hey, it's Paul. I won the book and give me your address. All right, next we are going to give away the Olight. So it's a keychain Olight. It's a pretty sweet little thing. 5-year warranty. Awesome little lights. So if you want an Olight, just write, Joel, need that book. Yep, you can also pick one up on our website.
Wow, that was a bitchy response.
No, do you
Usually
know?
only I get those responses.
I didn't mean it like that. I meant like you can still get a copy on our website. My son always says nerd. Yeah, I'm sure once our kids get older and, you know, they're in their teenage years, I'm sure Ryan and I are going to be totally big nerds. But anyway, comment Olight, and I'm going to pick someone off of there.
I'm
Olight,
Ryan G,
Olight.
and I will never be a nerd.
You are totally nerdy. And so Ryan didn't kiss his first girl until he was 17 years old. Why don't you
I was convinced.
Why don't you tell them why, sweetheart?
My mother told me, like my entire childhood, that I would get AIDS if I kissed a girl. And I was like, well, shit, this is freaking dangerous stuff. So, yeah, I didn't.
So Ryan kissed his first girl at,
Age 17.
Yep, exactly. Okay. All right. So the winner of the Olight is going to go to Ron Reeves. Ron Reeves. Go ahead and send us an email right there, winner@tampacarry.com, and let me know that you won. Oh, I was trying to look for the next giveaway. The next giveaway is Ryan's t-shirt. So take a look at Ryan's t-shirt.
Boom.
Boom. If you want to win Ryan's t-shirt, you got to comment Ryan is awesome.
Yes, I like that. I like that comment.
Because I just hurt Ryan's feelings, calling him a nerd.
You can't hurt my feelings.
And letting everybody know that he didn't kiss a first girl till he was 17.
I literally admitted on a live stream that I pooped my pants.
You did.
More than once.
You did.
Okay? We are past the point of embarrassment.
I'm just wondering because, you know, I'm wondering. This hasn't happened to me. I can honestly say it hasn't happened to me. So I'm wondering how many people this has happened to. So, you know, if you're brave on this live stream, if you're brave, go ahead and say, Ryan is awesome. But then I want you to say, I sharted. If you have sharted before and joined the Ryan Club, you have to admit it. Ryan's admitted it on several live streams that he's had an accident.
Had no dignity, people. I lost my dignity when we did children's ministry.
Yeah.
That's when it definitely disappeared. And I realized, you know what? I'm going to stop caring what people think about me.
Look at that. Jumpman 747 says I sharted. Brian Price has sharted. Hey. All right. Look at this. I'll join the Shark Club. You know what? I'm making a t-shirt. Folks, join us next week's live because I am making a t-shirt, the Shark Club. Okay?
The Shark Club?
Yeah, the Shark Club. I'm totally going to do it. So Gloria B. Gloria B., you just won a t-shirt because she too.
You're the only woman that admitted that
she too has sharded. I love it. So Gloria, go ahead and send me an email to winner@tampacarry, and you can go ahead and search all of our t-shirts at tampacarry.com under shop and pick the one that you want, and then just email me the SKU and we'll get that ordered for you. We have sizes from small all the way up to 2XL, and then you can choose navy blue, black, or gray. I love this. So look at Christopher. We've got all of these. Matt, Alex. Look. Oh no, Alex. Sorry, you didn't say that, but I love it. It's awesome. Okay, next week we are going to have the greatest t-shirt, Shark,
I sharted.
The Shark Club.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Nobody will ever wear it in public, but you'll own it.
You will.
I'll wear it.
You'll wear it. Yeah. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for joining us again. Thank you to everybody who gave. We love you guys, and we'll see you next Monday night at 7 p.m.
Be safe.
Bye.